Good evening. This is Maestro with the Dawn of War 2 Retribution Elite Modcast. Today, we have a 1v1 on Calderis Refinery. Our first player is going to be WingBlade, playing as the Inquisitor. This is a melee commander for the Imperial Guard, focuses on spellcasting and control, but can also become a melee tank. His opponent is going to be SpaMar007, playing as the Techmarine, Space Marine ranged hero with a gun for every occasion and the ability to repair vehicles. So then, let's take a look at our matchup right here. Imperial Guard and Space Marines. Decent chance that, we see a vehicle focus out of these players, as the Imperial Guard are often known for their vehicles, and so is the Techmarine. At the same time, though, both of these races also have quite a lot in terms of being able to counter vehicles. I do feel that these two races do have some of these stronger anti-vehicle options, especially when we're talking about the transition from Tier 1 to Tier 2. They're a little bit more flexible than other races in that regard, such as, say, Eldar, Tyranids. Actually, Tyranids, not too sure about that one. Tyranid's certainly better these days with the Electroshock Grub. Chaos is also a big one, too, where their transitional AV into Tier 2 is quite a bit less flexible than certainly these two races. Scouts are going to eventually lose this fight. The question is just, do they lose one model or do they lose two? They're trying to hold in cover here. I think they've bought enough time. Okay, I see what the idea is. When he needs the force melee from the Tactical Marines, I do see why he's keeping the scouts here out on the field, and it's basically because he wants them to be able to do something like capture this point, whereas if he had retreated them, he would lose that ability to cap, and that frees up the Tactical Marines to do something else. They can go engage middle, they can go try to bash the power a little bit. Looks like they're choosing to engage on these guardsmen, who are going to be moving around here, possibly looking for some kind of capture, but that was a little bit ambitious by WingBlade. Talk about ambitious by WingBlade. We also have a non-Sentinel Tier 1 build out of the Imperial Guard. I even saw a little bit of a discussion about this in just the Elite Mod Discord. Some people talking about, how crucial Sentinel is to the Imperial Guard Tier 1. And the fact that it can arguably be pretty weak without the Imperial Guards, without the Sentinel in Tier 1. These guardsmen generally lose many head-to-head fights against many Tier 1 ranged units. They're typically they typically do a little bit less damage than other Tier 1 ranged units, and especially compared to something like Tactical Marines, they're not going to be as tanky either. Are these Tactical Marines even in cover? Okay, it looks like they are in cover here. Wasn't sure. We're going to see the Inquisitor go for the tanky melee build, going for the Holy Brazier and the Rosarius. I do think that this turret will eventually be forced off, though. Inquisitor is going in, but she doesn't have a lot of health to work with, and her Rosarius shield is quickly being burned down. She needs to get out of here before she ends up going down entirely, because that would not be worth it at all. I think WingBlade just needs to accept that he's going to lose this multi-laser turret. He should salvage it instead of... Okay, he's actually going to see how much he can hold it. One guardsman squad is gone, but two more have actually managed to make it back here. I think, though, I think the double Tactical Marines as well as the Techmarine can actually just straight up win against the Guardsmen. He's going to prioritize destroying the turret first. I guess it doesn't actually matter. And that was a very slow fight, but I think it was something that was going to trend towards SpaMar winning that fight pretty much all along. And what I also don't like about WingBlade doing with this, with trying to commit those Guardsmen to, holding that multi-laser turret for a little bit longer, is that I don't feel that he actually gained that much out of it. He didn't even have the double cap, so it's actually, he's not even managing to further bash the generators. He's not holding his position down here on the generator farm, and he doesn't have the victory points. And otherwise, the resource points are completely even. SpaMar will even take an advantage in that regard because he won the engagement, and he's got two Tactical Marines capturing resource points. Tactical Marines capturing 50% faster than other units. Devastator Marines are going to be setting up here. That being said, the main victory that WingBlade did get, which I missed, is that he did wipe a Scout Squad. That being said, I think it was a completely unupgraded Scout Squad. Not that it doesn't hurt to lose the unupgraded Scout Squad, but that is, best case scenario for losing a unit, especially if it's the baseline one. So the Inquisitor with the Holy Brazier and the Rosarius, in some sense, I personally honestly find it surprising. I personally think the Inquisitor can struggle a little bit with this going into something like this. Although this is a tanky build for her, she's still comparatively less tanky than more dedicated tanky melee heroes who it's just flat out their role almost no matter what war gear you pick. And the Techmarine is also a hero who has just so much range damage that I feel he can very easily kite many tanky melee heroes. I don't feel that tanky melee heroes are specifically something that the Techmarine struggles with. Instead, I feel it's something that he's actually quite good at dealing with. This is quite a play by SpaMar. It's getting very risky, and he's not going to be able to pull it off. The damage from the guardsman is enough, and instead he ends up losing 2 models attempting that decap. In the end, I would say probably not worth it. He did destroy the node, which is nice. Now, we see the use of the Hammer of the Witches there. And of course, you know, that stun is actually very, very powerful, but it also anti-synergies with the conversion field because you're using that energy that you would otherwise use for the tankiness of the Inquisitor to cast a spell. So usually when you go for this war gear configuration, usually you want to minimize how often you're using your spells, aside from, well, the conversion field, which I suppose is technically a spell. I'm calling them spells when more just abilities. The Holy Brazier itself also gives an ability, but again, especially against Space Marines, it's a little bit less effective compared to against other races. Not that it's bad. Still does a 20% damage debuff in an area, as well as some damage. The damage against Tactical Marines is pretty weak, but the damage debuff could still be quite helpful. So both players about to head into Tier 2. It will be interesting to see whether we do actually see some kind of vehicle play out of these players. Again, given that normally the Chimera very central to how the Imperial Guard is played. The Techmarine is very strong with vehicles. I would say I think between the two, we're most likely going to see the Techmarine go for a vehicle. Meanwhile, the Inquisitor went down and had to be repurchased. I guess the question is, will it be a Razorback or will it be a Dreadnought? Now, typically in 1v1, the Razorback is honestly like better in most cases. It just fits more in what you need for 1v1, giving you both damage as well as mobility, also giving you on-the-field reinforcements. That being said, he's going to go for the Razorback. I was about to make an argument in favor of the Dreadnought because he's playing against Imperial Guard and also because of this map. Against Imperial Guard, you have to fear the infiltrated Melta Stormtroopers. And right now, SpaMar does not have a Scout Squad. Now, he's playing as a Techmarine, so he can support a vehicle without a Scout Squad, but I think he's going to want to repurchase a Scout Squad anyway, so that he can have detection against any possible Stormtroopers. WingBlade is indeed going to go for the Chimera, so yeah, still interesting to see. We are going to see just what is ultimately traditional for these two heroes or races, but it still is something that I definitely have concerns on both sides because the potential anti-vehicle answers are also very strong on both sides. I don't think we see any of them yet, but you know, on the Space Marine side, we have potential for missile launcher attacks, potentially 2, which is typically overboard and also hurts you in other ways. Definitely ruins your anti-infantry damage by quite a bit. But it also is a very strong vehicle answer. I would say I don't like the double missile attack. It's an overcommitment, and it's very expensive in terms of power. And this is also a very, very bold move by SpaMar, moving out this 400 health Razorback out here when he doesn't really know what kind of anti-vehicle WingBlade might have. And he doesn't have a Scout Squad with a Sergeant. Very, very bold. And I think he's just mostly lucky on the timing of the matter, that it's still too early. And also getting lucky that WingBlade did go for a Chimera and not blind purchasing Stormtroopers. So the Razorback overall is a great unit. The damage is actually on par with a ranged Dreadnought. The range damage, that is. And again, there's the mobility, the reinforcements on the field, which is also much of what the Chimera offers. It's why transports are generally very strong in 1v1 games. And pretty much all the transports in this game are very strong. in 1v1 at least. Now, in the long run, I do want to see... There are quite a few things I want to see in the long run. In the long run, I want to see a Scout Squad replacement. In the long run, I also want to see this Razorback upgraded with the reinforced plating. The Scout Squad, I think most people watching, that much is obvious. The reinforced plating, I think, is something that might be a little bit more debated. I'm actually incredibly surprised with how much free reign this Razorback is getting, this 400 health Razorback, against a race that has so many powerful counters. WingBlade not quite getting any of them yet. What is he going to get? He really does. He's going to get what is actually one of the softest counters that he has, which is the Melt-A-Gun on the Catachan Devils. Now that's also an upgrade. It also doesn't force his Inquisitor off her current weapon by getting the Inferno Pistol, although personally, I honestly think the Inferno Pistol would be a better choice in this matchup. Allows her to participate at ranged, allows her to stay in cover, allows her freer use of her spells. Yeah, I mean, hitting the Razorback with the Holy Bracer is not nearly as effective. Okay. Old Reliable going to be used to help speed the Inquisitor. Well, not speed the Inquisitor, disrupt the Tactical Marines as they get into melee. Tactical Marines in the Stern Guard, they can just get in the Razorback. And again, there's not much threat against the Razorback. Yeah, I mean, we see that Melt-A-Gun on the Stormtrooper squad, but it's only one Melta. It's definitely weaker than a full Melta Stormtrooper squad. It's weaker than the Inquisitor having the Inferno Pistol. By itself, that should never kill the Razorback unless we see a big misplay from SpaMar. And my god, he actually did go for a Dreadnought, and he went for a multi-melted Dreadnought. Variant, oh no! And the Chimera, WingBlade doesn't see it. This thing, he's going to get a rear armor shot on the Chimera. What is going on? Why isn't he pressing it? This Chimera is in huge amounts of trouble. It's not shooting, though. The multi-melted Dreadnought has not fired a single shot yet. It fires a single shot on the Catachan Devils. Kills a model. But okay, there we go. Yeah, only 2 more shots of that will finish this off, and I think it's going to get it. Oh, it's 100% going to get it. You can't even repair through that. Oh my god, major wins for SpaMar there. Takes out the Catachan Devils, takes out the Chimera.
A power node, roger.
Show me our way.
Yeah, and I do personally have to criticize some of the choices there by WingBlade. He did not respect the Razorback. He did not. And a respected Razorback by Imperial Guard is one that has to play much, much more carefully than SpaMar has been with this Razorback so far. And I feel like SpaMar, he got away with murder with this Razorback. He really literally did. He killed a Chimera as well as a Catachan Devil Squad. And WingBlade got full Plasma Guardsmen. I think even one of those Plasma Guns should have been delayed so that he could have gotten an anti-vehicle Lancer earlier. Now, he's called in some... oh, right. He has to upgrade to anti-armor. Right now, they are not actually consuming any energy. But this is a pretty cool play, and I think finally at this point, SpaMar... oh, yeah, he 100% pays for this. There's no way he keeps this Razorback alive. So, a little bit of a lack of respect on both sides. Both players not really responding to the opponent's vehicle appropriately and in a timely fashion. You know, when you have Melta Stormtroopers, you really put the fear of the Emperor into a 400 health Razorback. Because it has to worry that a Melt-A-Bomb can come out of nowhere, and then the Razorback can die just like that. And that Razorback wasn't even at full health. So typically, I feel the way you want to play it with a Razorback is you want a squad of shotgun scouts. They are being taxied around in the Razorback so that they can also get out and repair the Razorback and also detect any infiltrated units. I even like putting shotguns on them, even in this matchup, because you can use the shotgun blast to disrupt the Melta Stormtroopers as soon as they open fire, and usually that's enough pressure to force the Stormtroopers off the field, and it takes a lot of the pressure off the vehicle. Victory points are looking pretty even at 280 to 273.
A scout has struck me.
Melted Dreadnought is cool, and certainly it worked. I do miss the potential of the Assault Cannon Dreadnought in this matchup, which I think can be very, very strong. And I think I alluded, I wanted to talk about how a Assault Cannon Dreadnought, I feel, can also be good on this map. Because I feel this is a map where, compared to other 1v1 maps, the mobility of the Razorback is slightly less valuable. And I feel like the potential value of a Assault Cannon Dreadnought actually goes up quite a bit. The reason being for that is that these natural victory points are positioned in a way that they are very, very difficult for your opponent to take and hold for any sustained amount of time. So a lot of the map does depend on these engagements in the middle, which kind of reduces the needs for mobility and is also something that makes the Assault Cannon Dreadnought very, very strong. I also don't like that the Dreadnought is left isolated here. Where are the scouts? Why are they here? Like, I suppose they're trying to capture that point, but the scouts, I do feel, need to be babysitting the Dreadnought. At least one of either the Techmarine or the scouts should be there, and the scouts are really better served for that purpose because their combat usefulness is quite a bit less than the Techmarine. So that is ultimately the Stormtroopers lose 2 models without actually killing it. So in a way, they pay resources without achieving much of anything, aside from, I suppose, you know, if SpaMar is playing like this, where he's moving this Dreadnought around with no support, there is ambush opportunity if WingBlade commits to more anti-vehicle. And at this point, I think I do want to see something else aside from just the anti-armor kit Stormtroopers. The anti-armor kit Stormtroopers, they have good DPS, they have good ambush potential, they can snare. Their weakness is that once they are revealed, they don't have a lot of staying power, and they can be forced off very easily if they are actually engaged on. WingBlade will maintain the double cap. He's going to go for another Chimera. He's going to have to be a lot more careful with it than he was with the last one. Especially now we've got Vengeance rounds on a Devastator squad. We've got Stern Guard veterans. We also have that multi-melted Dreadnought. But WingBlade does have the mount. WingBlade does also have almost enough resources to go to Tier 3. One of the things I like about the Inquisitor in this matchup, actually, I like it even though I'm not actually sure it's a good thing, is that I feel that the Inquisitor has less impactful Tier 1 and Tier 2 globals than the other Imperial Guard commanders. And indirectly, that makes it more likely that you will actually see a rocket run from an Inquisitor player than the other Imperial Guard commanders. Commissar is going to be using their red on flares and mines. Lord General will be using it on creeping barrages. Inquisitor globals, again, in my opinion, a little bit less strong. So, and WingBlade he's not there yet, but I think over the course of the game, he will reach enough red to use a rocket run at some point. Now the question, of course, is even if he does decide to use that rocket run, how will his execution and placement be on it? Techmarine instantly loses here. Big micro mistake by SpaMar, just walking straight into triple Plasma Guardsmen. Pays for it big time. He will have to... I mean, he's got a lot of requisition, so I guess it's not hugely crippling. The Inquisitor straight up needs to get out of here or she will die. I think 3 hits, maybe more than 3. 1 more kills her. And, okay, yeah. Huge overstay there by the Inquisitor. No reason that had to happen. What is this going to be? Terminators! Terminators right behind. SpaMar realizes already in Tier 3, and he's not going to waste his time doing any nuke silly business. Silly business? Anyway, Terminators are here. And Terminators... actually, if I'm honest, are not actually an outstanding choice at the moment. He's got to micro this away, though. The Terminators can't just be... the Terminators don't even melee! I thought that... WingBlade gave SpaMar a gift. He's like, here, take like 200 free damage off my Chimera. But he didn't take it. Okay, and the Terminators are actually not doing well at all. Okay, they're going to upgrade to the heavy flamer. Once that starts being used, the guardsmen just need to get inside. They need to all get inside. Like, all of them. Like, don't bother me to get inside. He's going to lose a squad. Okay, he lost one of the squads. No, they weren't in... I was like, were the stormtroopers inside? And they weren't. Just needed all 3 squads to get inside. So, clearly not the cleanest game that we have here. Inquisitor taking a lot of damage just trying to activate Hammer the Witch is arguably not worth it. Tactical Marines, though, are not going to win this fight, even with And They Shall Know No Fear active. There's just too much plasma damage. These are Stern Guard veterans, not just regular Tactical Marines. But with the Chimera providing reinforcements to the Guardsmen doing plasma damage, that was never a fight that these Stern Guards were going to win. So, meanwhile, WingBlade, being very cheeky, actually manages to steal the power farm away from SpaMar. This is actually going to buy a decent amount of time as SpaMar is just committing these Tactical Marines to recapturing the power node. The contested victory point will be retaken by WingBlade, who already has a victory point advantage. So, in spite of definitely some sloppiness, well, the sloppiness has been on both sides. WingBlade is in a very good position at the moment. The Terminators actually ended up being a problematic choice. I mean, now that we have the Heavy Flamer, that Heavy Flamer we did see did some work, although the Lost Squad was just purely WingBlade, not microing. But we also saw how much damage the Terminators took from the double Plasma Guardsmen. Originally, it was actually triple, and that was also a big part of what was melting them. Losing one of those Plasma Guardsmen does matter quite a lot, I would say, actually. WingBlade, though, is still kind of zoning SpaMar's units out. It seems like SpaMar is trying to capture some resource points, but I think at this point, with the VPs ticking down against him, he's down almost by 100 victory points. I think he needs to group up, and he needs to make a play for the middle. Yeah, it's unfortunately we're seeing just left and right, literally on the right side of the map and on the left side of the map. He's just having isolated units getting caught out, and he's losing the fights. He also needs to make a decision of, does he either buy back the Techmarine now, or does he try to get another unit? I think he actually needs to buy back the Techmarine. He's going to go for a Predator instead. I think I see the reasoning behind that, actually, because while the Predator is building, he might actually be able to generate enough requisition to buy back the Techmarine, but at the same time, his requisition income is painfully low because he doesn't own a single requisition point on the map, and he's got a pretty wreck-heavy upkeep army.
They're trying to flame us out. They have 100 points.
With no snare also on this Chimera, the Chimera itself really does not fear even the Terminators. Okay, so now SpaMar is trying to make a play for the middle. His other Tactical Marine squad, though, getting the requisition point. It's a really desperate time for him. We've got tanks coming out on both sides. These Stormtroopers are not quite paying attention. What are they going for? I guess they're going for something else. But now the Terminators are going to engage on them. They managed to get back into stealth, even though they had been partially revealed. Terminators are going to look for those Stormtroopers, probably concerned that those Stormtroopers are going to try to do something like go for a back cap, something that he really can't afford at the moment. Predator does come out at a very opportune moment, though, when there is no other anti-vehicle out on the field, and just manages to take out the Chimera. One hammer of the Witch's Cast goes on the lead Terminator model. Terminators at this point, they got the decap. I guess they're just trying to buy time. But the problem is, at some point, they're going to lose a model pretty soon, and they can't really afford that. They can't deal with this Lehman Russ. Like, if WingBlade is not completely AFK, the Terminators cannot really do anything about the Lehman Russ. Like, he just moves it back. It does damage to the Terminators. The Terminators at this point are probably dead. Okay. The difference maker, though, is the Las Cannon Predator. Can the Las Cannon Predator finish off the Lehman Russ? That's huge, actually. It's being sped up. It takes it out. That's so important. But will it be traded out? The repairs are coming in from the Blessing of the Omnissiah. My god, if this Inquisitor had an Inferno pistol, I feel like they would definitely take it out. There's still a chance with the Melt of Stormtroopers. He's trying to get force melee with the Tactical Marines, but my god, the Blessing of the Omnissiah is such a powerful global. If we get force melee, that is the rocket run. Oh no, the rocket run was not really high value. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I was thinking it just about a minute ago, like how I would really prefer seeing the Inferno pistol on that Inquisitor, and especially seeing how that engagement turned out. I really would have preferred to see an Inferno pistol on the Inquisitor. I don't feel that she really is getting a huge amount done with the Holy Brazier. Hell Fury Strike going to come out from the Inquisitor. The rocket run came out. Unfortunately, it was not hugely impactful. At most, I think it took out a Terminator model, but it also mostly missed. Even the Terminators, it only caught like 1 or 2 models. So it's been a sloppy game all around, and my god. So SpaMar with this Predator that doesn't even have a Scout Squad to repair. Techmarine is around, though. I think he was only recently repurchased.
Sir, the advantage is
SpaMar
ours.
does have the double cap, and what SpaMar also does have is he does have a orbital bombardment. He is holding one, and he can use that to help him win the game. Techmarine is repairing the Predator. And the Stormtroopers are looking for something. They're either going to be looking for the Predator or looking for the victory point. Oh no.
I've bested the Space Marine target.
The Devastator's completely wiped. I think the orbital misses completely as well. Oh my god.
Found the enemy Space Marine. Sir, that's
Oh no. Big losses for SpaMar there. Loses the Devastator, loses 500 red while achieving nothing with it. And here is also the back cap. Okay. SpaMar now realizes it's happening. He's going to move over the Techmarine, but not before the decap happens. Stern Guard veteran's going to look for force melee against the Guardsman. So WingBlade only buying time at this point, but SpaMar will actually get the advantage back in his favor. Where we are at this point in the game, I think I would say SpaMar actually has the winning hand. So it'll be interesting to see what WingBlade can pull out, because it's really up to him at this point to make a play in order to change things back in his favor. He doesn't have the victory points, and I think he's at a deficit compositionally. SpaMar even has the resources to reinforce his squads, but he needs to actually do it. Because if he gets this level... Oh my god, where are they going? Where are they going? Oh no. I think he just doesn't realize. Terminators, meanwhile, there's not enough to stop the Terminators at this point. I mean, technically there is damage, but I think all the damage can just be threatened so much by both the Terminators as well as everything else. The attempt on the Predator is hopeless. Because even if we see a Terminator model go down here, which it looks like we aren't, I mean, the Guardsmen back there trying to kill the Terminator models. We're now at the point where WingBlade needs to make something magical happen for him to still have a chance. Terminators, though, this might be the play that he needed. I feel like SpaMar is trying to throw away the Terminators in an attempt to kind of seal the deal, but the Terminators do die here. Like, they use their teleport aggressively. There's plenty of damage. Another Predator vehicle is coming out, and WingBlade doesn't have what he needs to deal with it.
Stormtroopers here.
He's still only got the lone Stormtrooper squad, and the lone Stormtrooper squad hasn't been enough to deal with one Predator. One Predator that is being healed, or rather repaired, by the Blessing of the Omnissiah, as well as the Techmarine himself. He's got so little time, he'll probably just try to throw the Inquisitor on the victory point with the Rosarius, which probably won't even be enough. We'll see. I think he can get the decap with it. A lot of damage going to go into those Stern Guard veterans, though. They're massively out of position. What is this? Is that supposed to be a drop pod to reinforce them? Or is it just a new Tactical Marine squad? No, it was supposed to be a reinforcement drop pod, and it didn't even reinforce the Stern Guard veterans. And And he actually is going to take out the Predator. Where is the Techmarine? He's over here.
Disabled. It's ours. Hostile Predator. This position.
Oh yeah. I mean, this SpaMar, honestly, he kind of just threw this. I feel like he had everything. He had the victory points. I think he had the compositional advantage, and I think it honestly just came down to the positioning. WingBlade had the better positioning there. The Stern Guard veterans were caught out of position, where they were isolated and they were just taking too much damage from the guardsmen. The Techmarine wasn't repairing the Predator. He wasn't guarding the Predator, and that's also the price he pays for not having a scout squad as a way of basically babysitting his vehicles. And now he literally only has a Predator, and the Predator can't cap. So this has to be some kind of call-in. I don't even know what this is. This has to be like, I don't think this does anything. It's a tac drop pod. Okay, tac drop pod. That's like his only chance, because he literally needs to put a unit out on the field that can cap. Hell Fury Strike, though, gonna hit them. And Plasma Guardsman. This cap does not finish. It does not. And this one happens. Does the cap actually finish? All right, he makes a liar out of me, but he practically loses the entire Tactical Marine squad in the process. In fact, loses the entire Tactical Marine squad. And as soon as this cap finishes, that's the game in favor of WingBlade.
We are under attack. Reporting enemy contact.
Yeah, that'll be it. A very, very messy game. A little bit of a lack of respect on both sides. But that'll be it.
For the Emperor, sir.
Hope you enjoyed it,
Ever onward.
and have a good night.